Thanks for joining in today. This is George from Somavedic. He's the CEO of Somavedic. It's a brand very close to my heart, as with pretty much every exhibitor that we've got this year, which is amazing. I've got one, I'm not sure if you can see it, glowing in the background right about there. Or for those of you on Instagram, because we're recording on Zoom, there's that dot of light over in the corner. That's my Somavedic, and it's not a plant there, it really is there. I've actually got two of them. I've got one in my gym and I've got one in the kitchen on the side. It was quite funny because I had a friend come around the other day and he said, "Oh, you've got a Somavedic running." I always notice when I walk in a room when there's a Somavedic running. So just to let you know. So just quickly, I guess, to run through on my side why I've invited Somavedic to the summit and why I did last year. There's a story behind it. So I heard Ben talking about it. I think Ben might have mentioned it to me, Ben Greenfield, about Somavedic, and I reached out to George straight away and said, "This looks amazing, tell me more." And he sent me a unit. In fact, we did a biohackers test with a whole group of biohackers from London with one of his units in their house to test to see how effective it was. And it's really good because often people see heart rate variability increase and resting heart rate come down, and various other things which I'll let George go into, but it's been well tested by me and the London tribe. And since then, there's been a lot of activity in the States because I think we were the first English-speaking country for you to break out into. Yep. You've also booked to have a stand at Bulletproof Upgrade Labs over in LA as well, I believe. And your name seems to be everywhere, and the brand as well now, which is amazing. So yeah, congratulations on for that. I'm a firm believer in it, as with all EMF harmonization or protection. I'm a big fan of making sure that I've got things covered. And as per last week's live, I also carry around with me, and this is more of a portable thing, is the Vivo base unit in my pocket. So I don't consider them competitors. I consider them very in a similar way of fixing it in a different way. Which I'll let George go into in a minute. So anyway, I'm all a firm believer of minimizing the EMF health implications. And if you haven't read EMFD by Dr. McCullough, who is speaking this year at the summit, then I highly recommend you do read that book, because it's seriously eye-opening. It will make you realize that how important it is to minimize the risk that you get from EMFs. And in fact, before I go on and talk about you, or you talk about yourself and the brand, George, I recently moved home less than 3 weeks ago, because when I was checking the grounding in the apartment, and my body voltage didn't come down to 0.00 for some reason, and I couldn't figure out why. And then when I checked the RF in the building, it was off the charts pretty much everywhere. And every single piece of metal, whether it was my chin-up bar, whether it was the pipes in the bathroom, or even in the hallway, it was like scary levels of EMFs. So I literally moved house within 3 days, actually, just to get the hell out of there. So as you said, I live, I eat, I sleep, I breathe EMF protection. I moved home within days as a result. And so that's how important it is to me. And if any of you guys don't take it serious enough, then you really should do, especially if you've got niggling health issues. Obviously, while we can't claim it does certain things to health, it's about minimizing risk and taking every opportunity you can to harmonize or fix the damage from that EMF can potentially do. That's my honest opinion. So, George, tell me, in layman's terms, for everyone that's watching, whether it's live on Instagram right now or on Zoom for later on for sharing, what is Somavedic and how does it work?
Yes, so first of all, thank you for inviting me. I really enjoying talking to you and about this topic, important topic. So Somavedic is as you said already, it's a EMF mitigation device. And what's different about Somavedic is that it's basically designed on precious and semi-precious stones that are inside of it, and precious metals. And we are basically amplifying their frequencies and properties. And so it's a controlled release of energy and which is creating like a field, like a coherent field around the device. And this field has positive effects on our biology, on our biomarkers. So it's not like blocking EMF. EMF is still there, but the body reacts differently to it. And we've measured that HRV is improving. The levels of free radicals are getting much lower very fast. So, and this has other like very general health implications. Even though it's not a like a health device, and it was designed. The first intention was to mitigate the EMF. It has quite a big potential in different areas. So yeah, so this would be in a very nutshell of what Somavedic is and how does it work.
So essentially, it harmonizes using minerals in the device to minimize the effects of EMF on you specifically. One of the things that struck me as really cool, and I leave a glass bottle of water, one of these, next to it overnight. So it harmonizes the water, or should I say, structures the water. Obviously, Dr. Gerald Pollock will be speaking at the summit this year again. Not again, sorry, he was supposed to speak last year, but he had a family urgency, so he couldn't make it, unfortunately. But he will be speaking this year. Structured water, or fourth phase water, or EZ water, is really, really important for our health, obviously, because the sun charges our water to become, obviously, fourth phase water. And you say that by obviously having water near the device, it can structure the water. So I always leave a glass bottle. Can you just tell me a little bit more about that potentially?
Yes, definitely. So as the Somavedic is working with different like minerals and precious stones, and it's like radiating these frequencies, this is the same way, and this has effect on your body. This is the same way how the water gets structured, that it's not only right next to it, but even in a longer range, even though we do recommend putting a jug of water right next to the device. So it's actually a specific combination of precious stones and minerals and their frequencies that are affecting the structure and water, putting it into the natural state. And this has quite an interesting, like a short story, and I will mention it shortly. As Ivan Rybyansky, the founder of Somavedic, was experimenting with this, it reminded me of a really it's like an R&D as any other. So he was experimenting with that, and the very first prototype, you had to put the water, specific amount of water next to it for a specific amount of time, If it would be for too long, the water would be too buzzed and it wouldn't taste well. So eventually he came up with the right perfect combination, so you can keep the water there for any amount of water for any period of time, and it just stays 100% harmonized. So yeah, it's the core of Somavedic, to harmonize the environment, the biology, or in the water, whatever it's in its reach.
Okay, cool. So, I mean, just so the people are thinking, like, and this is a common question, I imagine, and it is from me and several people in the past, is like, how can minerals do this? Now, my very rough layman term of saying this is, you can have wireless electricity nowadays, which is obviously a way of moving energy. So I would presume that the Somavedic works in a similar way, except not necessarily damaging EMFs that's projected, so to speak. Would you agree that that's a rough way of explaining it?
Yeah, that would be, yeah. So for example, like, like everything is energy and vibration, and when you go into microscope deeper, then you'll find out that there's just huge space, and eventually there's no matter, there's just vibration and frequencies. So, and if you look at it more from the perspective that from some photos that you've seen probably already on the web, is you have like different minerals and crystals, and in a different position, so they are like aiming towards each other and amplifying. So this is the way how it works, and we are using different natural energy amplifiers. So it's like almost like a computer. So in the Somavedic, there's a CPU, there's a memory, there's a hard drive, and there's a, let's say, an amplifier. It is quite unique. It may be quite hard to describe, but the combination of that, they are working on correlation and amplifying each other. So that would be how it's working, and it can be directly measured on bioresonance devices so far.
Okay, awesome. So just going to go to a couple of the questions over here on Instagram that are rolling in. What's the minimum amount of time that water needs to be exposed to the Somavedic device to be structured? Good question. I like that.
Yes, so we recommend placing it there for 15 to 20 minutes, and that should be it. And you find it out that when it's the taste is different. It's more smooth, more silky. So
I completely agree, actually. Okay, cool. So another question from Bettelbug with a number after it. Is the vibration that breaks down the EMF waves, and do the crystals, is it the vibration that breaks down the EMF waves, and do the crystals work at the same vibration?
Yes, so as I said previously, Somavedic is not like blocking or interfering in the EMF wave. It has very subtle energies that according what we found out, are not interfering with any other, even EMF mitigation device or Wi-Fi's or whatever. It's these subtle energies that are directly working with affecting the cells and living organisms, because it has effects on plants and pets as well. So that would be the answer to that.
Okay, awesome. So let's have a look. Are there home structures? There's some good questions coming in here, guys. I really love this. The more questions, the better. And I'm putting George to the challenge here. So sorry, mate.
All right.
But no, it's really good, because I think, like, just to speak very openly, I think it's probably one of the most, some of the most, I get questions around, because most people can't necessarily measure it unless you see it in your heart rate variability and things. Therefore, people are skeptical, understandably, especially when it becomes to expensive devices. So I think it's really good if we discuss these things and go into some of these things, because, like, for me, I really need to understand something before I use it. I generally do my own research, and for us, the heuristic is obviously going into the science and be able to discuss what the benefits are. So I think it's really good. So thanks for the questions, guys. This is awesome. So are there home structures or materials that could interfere with the effectiveness of Somavedic?
Except any like really thick metal plates. I can't imagine why would you have them in home. Then it penetrates walls and floors without a problem.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Here, I'll come back to that one later on.
But I just wanted to follow up on what you said, that it's definitely, and I totally agree with that people are hesitant or don't believe in it. And it's sure, because like there is science, there is some science, we have testimonials, but it doesn't, even this might not be enough. That's why we have like a 60-day money-back guarantee. So you can experience it for yourself, because you really have to experience it. And if you don't like it, or you don't feel any improvement, feel free to return it. So that's why we have this guarantee, because we know that for some they just people would just like to try it, and for some it might be a big investment.
Yeah, I mean, I've generally seen a very good answer to all of this. I mean, again, I'm just putting these things out there just so I can show that I'm not biased. Because you're an exhibitor, I truly do believe in every brand that exhibits. I mean, I put my name to every single one of them. I think a lot of conferences, with the exception of PaleoF and Upgrade Labs, generally sell space to the highest bidder. For me, it's all about the best products, and people can use me as the heuristic as to what I actually incorporate to my life. So anyone that's watching that doesn't follow me on Instagram, and I'm sure pretty much most of you do, at Tim Biohacker, you can have a look through pretty much me using these things throughout the year, every year, and talking about what I find from them and the results I get from them. I go into quite a lot of detail on all of these guys, and I don't invite someone that I don't believe in. They just don't make, if they don't make the cut, they don't make it to this point. George is here 2 years in a row because it was such a success, and like so many people in this space have got a Somavedic now. It's really awesome. It's really nice. So, so just to let you know, I mean, again, I'm just trying to be devil's advocate, so because I know it's a question that does come up. So it's nice to address it now, and be open and honest about it as well. Sure. Hello, Dr. Scott Scher. Nice to see you join. So I brought Green Ultra because I live in an apartment. So will it help with the neighbor's Wi-Fi and soon to come 5G? Nice one. I love the question.
Yes, definitely. I mean, it is like the radius is about 100 feet into all directions. So it is creating like a bubble. And when you live in an apartment, it is like affecting the neighbor and within even the reach of their Wi-Fi's. So if the Wi-Fi, if you can find a Wi-Fi with your laptop that is in your living room or bedroom or whatever, it's definitely helping that to mitigate these effects as well.
Awesome. So I'm just going to check my structure that my team's put together for me for the talk, George. But I'm really enjoying these questions today. There's more than usual coming in, which is really good. It shows that there's a lot of energy behind that. So yeah, I mean, I've already covered the points of why I wanted you guys to exhibit. I mean, I'd like to ask you really why it was that you chose to come to our summit again 2 years in a row, because I appreciate it's a big investment to come to a summit, and there's a lot to choose from, not necessarily quite so niche, but yeah, really interested to hear why.
Yeah, so I'm a people guy, so when I got in touch with you regarding what you do, so I connected quite well, and then I found out what you are doing, and I found it really interesting. So I said, like, yeah, well, like definitely let's go like attend the Health Optimization Summit, and this was the best decision we've done at the because this was like an entry point to the English-speaking countries. Because until last year, we didn't like approach that many, like, well, basically not at all, like the English-speaking countries. And so the summit was a huge success. It was amazing, organized, great speakers. We were basically, we were flooded with visitors and like non-stop working, which was great. And 2 days after the summit, I left to San Francisco for 3 months and continued the journey. But the Health Optimization Summit was a great starting point. So there was no question that we would attend the second year.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you for saying so. I appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, the year one was, I mean, there's a lot of energy that went into it. Actually, it was really pushed myself, and without biohacking, I don't think it would have been possible. Same with the team as well. They really pushed themselves, but we had 1,164 people last year in year one, which most of the conferences have 200 to 500 people in year one. And the guys over at Bulletproof said it was more like a year 3 or 4 in a year one. It's really fun because when I spoke to Dr. McCullough a few months ago, I said to him, would you consider speaking year 2? And he went, Tim, yes, of course. I heard how well it went. And then I heard on a podcast he did with Dr. Dominic Nitzschwitz, who's the biological dentist friend of ours and a speaker this year. And on the podcast with Dom, he said that this is one of the 2 best health events of 2020. Well, one of them hasn't happened, unfortunately, because Upgrade Labs and being in LA. But so hopefully all should be well with the lockdown removing, which is looking pretty good. tickets are selling very, very fast. The exhibitors have done very, very, very well. We're basically where we were this time last year now, so we're very, very up to speed. So it looks like we might only be the only health event of the year, which is awesome for us. So, okay, awesome. So let's just have a look at the questions again before we move back on, George. The Gold Somavedic says it can work on a quantum level and is custom built. What does that entail? Good question.
Yes, yes. So the Gold Somavedic. So the founder, Ivan, like he's been through some things in his life, and he became, throughout like experiences and different things, he became very intuitive and sensitive, and astral travels and lots of things. And so the goal is different in a way that he can tune into the photo of the particular person that would like to have it, and the core of it is custom made for that specific individual. And what it is mean on the quantum level that it's working with them is that it has an effect on not only on him but his family, like blood relatives, but not only in the reach, on the physical reach of the Somavedic, but there, like, basically there's no distance. Even if they would live in a different city, it is working with them and on them, on the family relatives. And we have several experiences with this, that how it's how it is working without any, basically, the range of the distance of people.
So is it actually gold plated, or what is the gold like? Because someone said everyone calls it the gold one.
Yes, it's called gold. It's called gold. There's a lot of gold inside, like real gold. It's quite heavy, and there are used like different precious stones and metals, a lot of gold, because gold and silver, of course, they have specific frequencies and vibrations that are like benefiting our bodies when you have so yeah, this is known from Egypt, and this is quite so yes, there's a lot of gold, except other things.
Okay, awesome. I've got a beaut of a question here, and I'm sorry to keep on hitting you with these, George, but I'm absolutely loving these questions today. So I have a question for the live. After reading McCullough's book EMFD, or EMF'd, I got quite scared as to what harm I may have unconsciously done to myself with EMFs before I knew what they did. How can we undo this damage that may have occurred up until now, i.e. from having a laptop on your lap, a phone in your pocket, Bluetooth headphones for the last few years? Great question.
Yes, so I've read the book. It's an amazing book, and I can definitely know why some people get scared, because if they are exposed to this for the first time, it might get scary. And I also I'm a believer that there's no one solution for everything. There is no one magic pill. I mean, I always suggest people to lower their EMF exposure as much as they can. EMF blockers, pants, like shields, and to ground themselves, to drink proper, to hydrate properly, and to use mitigation devices for like EMF. So it's a combination that of lots of things, not just particularly one single thing.
I mean, for me, when I read the book, I went, holy crap, I can't believe it. It's actually quite scary. So I can resonate with that question. I mean, I already wear EMF blocking underwear by Get Lambs, or Get Lambs. I have a EMF blocking baseball cap, Upgrade Labs one, which we're just looking at doing them for Health Optimisation Summit this year. I obviously carry the Vivo base, and I have the Somavedic, 2 of them in the house actually. Fortunate enough to be in quite a big house at the moment for the summer, for building the summit with the team. Also, I have grounding mat. I've got one on the floor down here, and I've got a mouse mat right here, and yeah, so I cover myself as much as I can from EMFs. And actually, it's when I was at my previous home, I really did notice how negatively it affected my health. It's just the days where you weren't feeling quite right, or the brain fog, or your productivity down. Actually, my Carol exercises on my Carol bike, I didn't perform quite so well. There's something just seemed off the whole time. And then literally when I came to this house, it was just like a breath of fresh air, and tested with the RF reader, and it's almost zero everywhere. It's had a biological building specialist come around and look at the house beforehand. So it's very, very cool. So it does make a difference. And the interesting thing is at my last place, I had an EMF Faraday cage for my bedroom to go over the bed. And it made no difference to my stats if my Vivo Base and my Somavedic were both on in the house. No difference at all to my stats. And so I ended up sending back the EMF canopy. So having two devices. Now, obviously, physical blocking is a good idea, definitely. But the point is if your data doesn't seem to make any difference, then surely that looks good. The other thing is the rest of the house wasn't a Faraday cage, and I was in it, especially in lockdown, 24/7, pretty much. So yeah, so that's my personal testimonial, should I say, about Somavedic particularly, which is again one of the reasons why I really wanted you back this year. So there's a question that came in, and I want to ask, how do the models differ in terms of crystals or vibrations? Because I think that's quite a nice question. Again, I've had the same.
Yes, that's a good question. So I won't talk about the specific like minerals and crystals because it doesn't make. But in terms of the effects, so they mostly differ in the strength of the field that they are creating. So that's why we have like standard devices that are mitigating 3G, 4G, and then we have the stronger ones as the Medigreen Ultra or Ember that are strong enough to mitigate the 5G. So this is one difference. Then second would be the water structuring. So the Medigreen Ultra is the most versatile universal the unit. It's also the bestseller. And this one can also structure the water. So these two basically would be the main characteristics. Strength of the field and the water structuring. So yeah.
Okay, awesome. So just looking at the next thing. So what would you say are your favorite biohacks, George? Like in general, I mean, is it mainly EMF focused, or are there other things that you incorporate into your day-to-day life?
I'm let's say more of a, I don't say like a old school guy, but I take it from more higher. I'm not sure how to express it, but I'm not focused on some specific like supplements like that. I can't even pronounce their names on what they are doing to my body. But as I mentioned previously, so it's grounding, it's drinking structured water, it's like moving the body like fitness, it's like sleeping or trying to get as soon, or not as soon as the bed, but not to eat 3 hours before going to bed. So these like very easy and fasting, these quite easy to do things like that I'm find like useful and that are helping me. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So where can people find you, George, or should I say people buy a unit or find out more information? Because I know we've got a code to give away today, which is optimization with a Z, which gives 11% off. But yes. Whereabouts can they use this?
Yes, so they can use it on somavedic.com. And tomorrow we should have a new UK, for the UK audience, we should have a new UK webpage running, and they could use that discount code there as well. So yeah, somavedic.com, and if someone would like to reach out to me, it's hello@somavedic.com.
Okay, perfect. Okay. So today we've got, we're going to give away the Medic Green Ultra, which is the one I've got in the lounge, worth 672 quid, which is a bit of a beautiful prize, actually. It's a nice one for doing this. So let's figure out who we think should win the prize. So George, which was the best question of the day? Which got you on your toes the most?
On the toes the most. Probably the question about the gold unit, because that is very specifically niche, like a product, but it's also, yeah, I mean, I don't know, it's hard to tell. It's hard to tell.
I like the gold one as well. I think that's a good one. I mean, it is a very expensive unit, but it was good that we discussed what the points were about it. So Kirsten, while you're listening, who's one of my team members, could you scroll up and find out who it was that mentioned about the gold Somavedic unit? And whoever it was that mentioned it, because I can't see it right now, could you please message us directly, and we're going to hook you up with George so that you can get your Somavedic green sent out. Okay, awesome. So George, is there anything else you want to add before we wrap up today?
Yeah, so thank you for inviting me. I'm really looking forward to exhibit again. And if there's anybody that would feel inspired by Somavedic and would like to spread the message, definitely reach out to us, because talking about the EMF, there's there need to be like a lot of people to bring it to the mainstream.
I mean, I think guys should have a read of EMF by Dr. McCullough. I think it's absolutely awesome book. Took me about 3 or 4 days to read it, but it was a very, very, very good read. And I literally changed where I lived as a result. And that's how powerful the book is. And I think that this ties into how important mitigating the negative effects of EMFs are. So the winner, it's just popped up in my screen, is Adam Politis. There you are, sending a love heart. Yeah, congratulations. One of the team will be in touch with you soon if you can message over. And guys, if you don't already follow Somavedic on Instagram, please do so. Keep an eye on what's going on. Yeah, perfect. And I'm obviously Tim Biohacker, and this video will be uploaded and shared once it's been edited on Zoom. So you're not going to see the side of our heads, you'll see the front, which is where I'm pointing over there right now, on our feed in the next week. So if you do want to go back over the answers and things like that, then you can do so. But if not, you can say hello to George at the summit. If you haven't got your ticket yet, we've just launched the last set of early birds. So I think it's the late birds or something. And before they go back up again, which the tickets are really doing well now. We're coming out of the lockdown. So buy your tickets now before they go up. Don't worry, you're fully protected if the event doesn't happen, which is very, very small chance. And we do have contingency in place should anything happen with this year's dates. Your tickets are fully refundable if you need to. So there's no risk, but you just get a cheaper ticket if you buy it now instead of waiting. So head over to Health Optimisation Summit Instagram feed, follow there, Tim Biohacker, Somavedic International, and sign up for the newsletter if nothing else. Anyway, thank you very much for tuning in today, guys. George, we're going to stay on Zoom on here, so we can wrap this up and just have a chat directly. And Instagram, thank you very much for all your awesome questions. And yes, the summit will be happening, and look forward to seeing you all there. And yes, the discount code will be added on the post when it is shared out on our Instagram wall properly. But the code, just to confirm, is optimisation with a Z for £11 off at Somavedic. Have an amazing day, guys, and catch you soon.